would say family and friends, because that had a big influence on me and how I am today.
Having a future for myself and being able to be successful.
My family's really important to me. They keep me grounded, they help me through everything in life. So, you always want to have your family's back no matter what, so that's really is important to me.
Something that I really care about is, for one, my family, but out of everybody in my family, my mom, my baby sister are the most important to me.
Right now it's my grades so that I can go ahead and move on to getting into college and starting my life.
It would probably be my faith and religion, and then followed by my family.
I care about my family, just never losing touch and always staying together and being there for each other.
I really think what's most important to me is setting a good example for others and really just going out there for helping people. So whatever I want to do in life is not really for the money, it's just to help others and to somehow, just leave a good impression.
So why are we talking so much about giving? Wasn't this course supposed to be about personal finance? How is giving connected? Well, giving creates a legacy. It gives meaning to the journey of your life. You can be remembered for a number of things. Your athletic ability, your musical gifts, your sense of humor, your kindness, your anger, your attitude, your selfishness, and tons of things in between. What I hope you'll do today, yes, even in high school, is ask yourself, what do I want to be remembered for? You can make a lot of money and be wildly successful. You can go after your dreams and accomplish each and every one of them. But to what end? If you're giving of yourself, you're building a legacy to be proud of. After all, your legacy is the impact you have on the world, and it shows the world what really matters to you. Guys, this is just about it. Can you believe it? Throughout the course of this class, you've learned all kinds of things about life and money and careers and goals. Hopefully you've gained more knowledge than you ever thought possible when we started. One of the biggest things we've talked about are the 5 foundations. You remember those, right? The first foundation is to save a $500 emergency fund. Life happens, so it's best to be prepared. Problems that affect your finances are easier to fix if you've got an emergency fund. The second foundation is to get out of debt. If you don't have any debt, or even if you do, commit now to remaining debt-free for life. This one decision will literally set you up for an incredible future. In order to avoid debt, follow the third and fourth foundations. Start planning and saving now so you can pay cash for your car and cash flow college. Using cash for big purchases like these will set you up to win with money right from the start. The fifth foundation is to build wealth and give. Remember Ben and Arthur? You can't turn back the clock. Compound interest takes time. So the sooner you get started, the more time it has to work and the more your money will grow. We know by now that following these steps, you will build wealth. The sky is the limit. As you do, be intentional with your money. Take care of your needs and commit to helping others along the way. Keeping an open hand and an open spirit means you will leave behind an amazing legacy someday. The bottom line is, as a high school student, you've got the opportunity to take all the life skills we've taught you and apply them to your own situation. You determine your future, and that is so exciting. You've got your whole life ahead of you. Where you're from, your family background, what you've been told by others, those things don't define you. You define you. Success isn't easy, but it's possible for anyone who's willing to go after it. So what will your future look like? What will your legacy be?
Sometimes people tell me, someday I'm going to be so generous. Someday when I've got a lot of money, when I've made it, when I've arrived, the things I'm going to do. I've got so many plans to be generous. Someday that's going to happen. And I love the heart behind that, but there's a problem. And it's a really simple problem. Here's what it is. There is no someday. Look at your calendar. Look at next year's calendar. Look at a calendar from 100 years from now. You know what word you're not going to find on any day of the year? Someday. Why? Because someday is not going to come. It's a fictional land. You're not going to arrive at it. And if you want to be generous, if you want to do that someday, you've got to start on this day. This is the time you have. Tomorrow is fiction. Today is fact. 100% of the time you're guaranteed is right now. And so you've got to be generous with that time. And so you want to practice that. That's a simple idea, isn't it? If you've ever played a sport in high school, maybe you're on the football team, maybe you're a cheerleader, maybe you play soccer. Your coach at one point has said, hey, you play how you practice. You play how you practice. And what they meant by that is, hey, if you want to have an amazing game on Friday night, if you want to dominate, if you want to be the homecoming hero, what do you need to do? You need to practice all week. You need to run suicides and drills and work and be hard and really give it your all and practice so that when it's game time, you can turn that on and you can play then. And that's the same with generosity. If you want to be generous when you're older, if you want to be generous when you get that first check from your adult job and you've got money and you've got resources, if you want to be generous in that moment, which is the game moment, you've got to practice well. You've got to practice hard. You've got to start now with the small resources you have. Maybe you don't have a ton of money. Most of us think to be generous, I have to build a well or do something crazy. No, you can start small with what you have, where you are. And there's so many ways to give, so many different ways. And sometimes we forget that and we lose our way. I mean, I think about that with my own kids. One day, my youngest daughter told me about the book fair. They were going to sell books at her school, and she said she wanted to get some money from her give envelope. And I said, well, I think you mean your spend envelope. And she said, no, you don't understand, Dad. I give them the money, so this is my give envelope. And I laughed for a minute, but I realized I had to reset her expectation. Because the reality is, if I want a generous 15-year-old, I better practice with my 6-year-old. I better teach her along the way. So my challenge to you is if you really want to be generous, if you feel that in your heart, if that's something that matters to you, don't wait. Now is the best time to start being generous so that later you can be really generous, so that later you can really grow and really impact the world. If you want to change the world someday, you have to start on this day.
Well, we've spent a lot of time throughout this class talking about how to handle money. We've talked about saving, budgeting, getting out of debt. We've covered investing in college, and even how your career impacts your life and money. We've gone through a ton of material together. But don't forget what we've said at the start of the course. Personal finance is only about 20% head knowledge. The other 80% is behavior.
So that means if you've aced every assignment throughout this class, and even if you know the material cover to cover, but you don't actually apply any of it to your life, then you'll never win with money. Winning with money isn't about what you know, it's about what you do.
That's right. You know, I even have a college finance degree, and I still ended up completely broke and scared to death, finally declaring bankruptcy, not even 10 years after graduating from college. That finance degree didn't do too much for me because I didn't manage my behaviors. I had a lot to learn about the truth of personal finance, and I learned it the hard way. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, and I was born the year that Mom and Dad declared bankruptcy. They had lived this big, rich lifestyle for years, but I never saw any of it. I came into the picture after it was all gone, and my parents were putting their lives back together. They were learning about how to handle money while I was growing up, so I watched them learn all of these lessons. That meant I also never saw my parents use a credit card, take out a loan, finance a single purchase. It was cash or nothing ever since the day I was born.
We didn't have a lot of choice. Sharon and I were scared to death. We had our heads down. We were just trying to keep the lights on and feed the kids for a while. And we had these little kids watching us the whole time. To be honest, we never thought about teaching the kids how to handle money. We were just trying to figure it out for ourselves.
But because of that, I was able to grow up seeing how all of this works. I learned how to work, spend, save, and give. I learned how to budget and plan for big purchases. And now, as a young adult, the future is wide open. Most of my friends from college are making student loan payments every month and freaking out about their car loans. But my husband and I are debt-free. We're applying these principles to our lives every single day. And we're excited about where we are and where we're going to be one day.
And it could be the same for you guys. You're getting this information at the perfect time. I talk to people on the radio every day who all say, I wish I had learned this stuff in high school. They're sitting in a huge mess, and they'd do anything to go back in time and hand this information to the high school version of themselves. But instead, they have to buckle down and start doing this stuff wherever they are in life. It could take them years to get out of the mess that they're in. Now, I'm excited about them turning their lives around, but it sure would have been easier if they'd never gotten into the mess in the first place.
And that's where you guys are right now. We've spent a lot of time showing you how all of this stuff works, but it won't mean anything if you don't do it. If you run up a mountain of credit card debt or take out a stupid car loan or sign up for crazy student loans just because someone told you it was good debt, then you'll miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. The bottom line, the point of this whole class is you can be a millionaire. Anyone can. You can change your entire family. Future generations could look back on you as the one that changed the course of the whole family tree. You can build wealth and give generously to good causes around the world. You can protect your life and your future marriage from the crushing pressures of debt and financial stress. You can be the one. And if all of you guys did it, then you'd change a lot more than your family. You would change the world. We really do believe that. And we can't wait to see what you accomplish.